Have you ever noticed something strange? Some of the most educated people, the ones with degrees, stable jobs, and respectable careers, are often the same people quietly struggling with money. Not struggling in the obvious way. They pay their bills, they go to work every day, they look financially normal from the outside. But underneath that stability, there's a constant pressure. The credit card balance that never fully disappears. The savings account that grows slower than expected. The feeling that despite doing everything right, money still feels tight. And the uncomfortable question begins to form. How can someone intelligent, educated, and hardworking still feel financially stuck? Let's imagine a very ordinary situation. A 29-year-old marketing professional living in Chicago. Salary? $70,000 per year. On paper, that sounds like a solid middle-class income. But after federal tax, state tax, Social Security, and health insurance, take-home pay might be around $4,100 per month. Now let's look at what life quietly costs. Rent for a modest apartment, $1,650. Car payment, $420. Insurance, fuel, and maintenance, $280. Student loan payment, $350. Groceries and basic living expenses, $500. Phone, subscriptions, and internet, $160. Minimum credit card payment, $150. Already, we're at roughly $3,510 per month. And we haven't included things like dining out, travel, unexpected medical bills, replacing a laptop, helping family, or trying to have some kind of social life. Suddenly, that $70,000 salary doesn't feel like wealth. It feels like maintenance. Now, here's the interesting part. None of these expenses are reckless. The apartment isn't luxurious. The car isn't exotic. The lifestyle isn't extravagant. Everything looks reasonable, which is exactly why so many smart people fall into this situation. The problem isn't stupidity. The problem is structure. Most people are trained to optimize one thing: income. Study hard, get a degree, find a stable career. And to be fair, that strategy does work. Education statistically increases lifetime earnings, but education rarely teaches something equally important: how modern financial systems slowly absorb income, not through dramatic mistakes, through normal life decisions. Take the car payment. A $420 monthly payment doesn't feel extreme, but stretch that across 6 years. 420 times 72 months. That's $30,240. And that doesn't include insurance or interest. The real cost of the car might quietly approach $38,000. Now imagine someone upgrades cars every 6 years from age 25 to 55. 5 vehicles. That's nearly $190,000 spent on transportation for something that mostly sits parked. Or consider student loans. A $350 monthly payment. It feels manageable, but over 10 years, that's $42,000. And if the interest rate is 6%, the total repayment might be closer to $46,000. Again, nothing irresponsible happened. Education was supposed to create opportunity, but the financial system charges admission. And then there's the invisible pressure that shapes spending: lifestyle alignment. When people graduate and enter professional careers, they naturally adjust their lives to match their peers. The apartment becomes slightly nicer, the car slightly newer, vacations slightly more frequent. Nothing outrageous, just socially normal. But normal in a middle-class professional environment often means permanent fixed expenses, expenses that quietly lock future income before it even arrives. Psychologically, this happens because humans value present stability more than distant flexibility. A comfortable apartment today feels real. Financial freedom 15 years from now feels abstract. So the brain prioritizes immediate quality of life, even when the math says otherwise. And intelligent people are not immune to this. In fact, sometimes they rationalize it better. Over time, this creates a subtle financial pattern. Income rises slowly, but fixed costs rise alongside it. A raise comes in, and rent increases. A promotion happens, and the car gets upgraded. A bonus arrives, and the vacation is booked. From the outside, life looks successful, but internally, the margin between income and obligation barely changes. The real difference between financially stressed professionals and financially secure ones is rarely intelligence, it's perspective. Financially aware people tend to look at income differently. Instead of asking, "What can this salary afford?" they ask a quieter question. How much of this income can remain unclaimed? Because unclaimed income becomes something powerful. Time flexibility, investment capital, freedom to change careers, freedom to say no. For example, imagine that same $4,100 monthly take-home income. If fixed expenses consume $3,500, the future becomes narrow. But if someone structures life so expenses stay closer to $2,800, something interesting happens. That $1,300 difference isn't just savings, it's optionality. Invested at a modest 7% return, $1,300 per month becomes about $220,000 in 10 years. No extreme strategies, just math and time. And this is why many financially stable people don't look dramatically different from everyone else. They live in similar cities, they work similar jobs, they earn similar salaries, but they quietly protect one thing most people give away too early: margin. The small gap between what they earn and what their lifestyle demands. Over decades, that small gap compounds into something much larger. Not luxury, but freedom. So if you've ever wondered why smart, educated people still struggle financially, it's rarely about intelligence. More often, it's about how modern life slowly converts income into commitments, and most people never notice the system until years have already passed.